Welcome back to our next instalment of the Class 08 Rescue from Hell, and today we're fitting our decals, and our decals are supplied from Fox Transfers. You might just see on the bottom of there. If you've not tried them already, link in the description. They're really cool. So this particular sheet here covers some of the certain models, 08s and Class 25, and it's got numbers and some hazard badges on, stuff like that, some stickers that we're going to use. And then the wasp stripes are a separate kit. There's 3 kits there, big enough for that one, and those little ones for down the side there. So we're going to fit these in a little bit. Not looking forward to these, they're a bit fiddly. Becomes my least favourite job all of a sudden, but anyway, we need to make a start. So what we're going to do is the wasp stripes. These are the front ones because they're slightly narrower. Just going to cut them out of the sheet there, and we'll do the same with all the other bits. We'll collect them all the bits that we're going to need, we'll cut out in one go and just put them up on the side, so we know we've got everything we need. Now, if you've not used Fox Transfers before, I've no affiliation to them, but I get lots of my decals from them. Are they called decals or decals or decal? I did see a video on it once on YouTube, and someone tried to get the origins of the word, but anyway, I'm not sure. So these little warning signs here. Now, every picture I've looked at of Class 08s, they seem to have a different amount, and they're in different places. So I think we're going to use I think 8 we've got there, so 3 on each side and 2 on the back. I've seen them with 1 on the rear. I've seen them with 5 on the rear. There seems to be no sort of particular scheme. So these little warning flashes, they're the overhead electrical signs. On later models they're a different colour, they're like yellow triangles, I think. So cutting out the numbers for the side of the cab, and obviously we need the double arrow sign as well to make this a BR. Not that you can see what I'm doing because it's white on a white background, so I do apologise for that. But as I was saying about Fox Transfers, I've used them quite a few times. Lots of my transfers are from them, and this particular ones I ordered on a Tuesday night, I think it was, at 4 o'clock, and it arrived literally at 9 the following morning in the post, so I was very pleased. Right, okay, so wasp stripes on the back. Now on the 08 there's a bar just underneath the windows, and I think we're going to sort of make the join there rather than trying to fit that across, getting across that lump, although I'm sure it will. It's probably easy to cut it into 2 parts. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's just have a little measure up, a little mark, and then we're going to cut that piece out. Now, I couldn't decide whether to actually just make the cut and then separate it, or cut the width of the bar out. So I've cut the width of the bar out. I think it looks okay. And I'm going to invest in a pen that works next time as well. But I can see the mark just about. So I'm just going to cut that piece out. It's just easier to, oh, excuse my head. It's just easier to cut it out now, rather than once it's wet and one piece on the back of the shunter and trying to sort of cut around bits and pieces. It never works anyway. So that's our top piece. And that's our piece for the bottom. So I have soaked these in warm plain water, just with literally just 1 drop of washing up liquid. It just helps with surface tension, and on it goes. I'm not going to trim around the edge. I will do that once it dries. You can obviously just sort of take a bit more time and cut it so it's exactly the right shape, but it worked out fine with this one. So just can pop it onto place, maneuver it around with a brush or end of a knife. You'll see in a moment. You can do it very gently with that. These are quite delicate, and they will sort of fold over on each other and do all sorts of weird things. It takes a while, and then once I've got the decal in place, I'll always sort of pat it down with a end of a Q-tip or a cotton bud, as you'd call them. So just to dry it, and I just roll it across rather than sort of brushing it, and it just pushes the bubbles out and makes it flatten down a little bit more and soaks up all some of the excess water that's going to be sitting around there. There's lots of detail, like the rivet detail and so on, so just want to make sure that they come through and there's no air trapped underneath that. Otherwise you get that thing what they call silvering, so you see some of the carrier film when it goes kind of a silverish colour. So we're just trying to make sure there's no gaps in between the decal and the bodywork. And it's unfortunately so easy just to sort of catch the end and sort of move the decals around. So you just have to be very careful, mindful of where you're holding your model, because I've done it before, walked away and then suddenly I've got a decal stuck on the end of my finger while I'm making my coffee. So just be very careful how you hold the model once you've got a few of the decals on there, because they'll lift off for quite some time. They're going to be soft and sort of fluid for a little while. So just dabbing down around some of the details on the back. There are obviously you've got your lamp hangers and pipes and all sorts of things on the back. So we did that. Now once we're happy with that, we can use Microsol. Now Microsol softens the decal, and if you just let it dry, it will then almost make the decal look like it's been painted on. With this again, just dab it on. So load your brush, dab it on, and then leave it. The temptation, if there is, to sort of touch the decal and move it, try not to, because it will go soft and you will potentially just destroy it. So just be very, very careful. And then we're just going to leave that to dry. We'll let that one dry overnight, and I've trimmed around the edge, and we're just going to trim the windows out. And that's gone. Now around the edges where we had the overhang, I just used the fiberglass brush that we have, but went a bit wild on that corner and took some of the paint off. But as we know, with this finish, what we're trying to achieve, we're going to be okay with that. So I don't mind a few weird bits here and there. So on the front, did the same with the front. Cut out around the grill, just easier than doing it in one piece, and made the join down the centre, and along the sides there's the continuation of the wasp right that go around the side on certain 08s, and that's what we're going to add. And then we've got numbers and then the warning flashes as well, so we're going to add them in next. So again, warm water with our washing up liquid in, just literally just a drop. It's just to break up the surface tension, and a piece of tissue paper. There's a bit of blue paper there. So once that is, get it, let me pick it up. That's it. Once that's nicely soaked, let's put it in the right place. I'll leave it in there for a few minutes. I normally use these tweezers that sort of they grip onto it, and then I can just leave it in there rather than trying to fish it out, which is a bit frustrating. So I just soak off the excess on the blue paper, and then use the knife very gently just to slide it into place, or you can use a brush. A lot of people use a brush, depends how delicate you can be with a knife. I find the knife a bit more precise because you can kind of grab hold of it and move it around, but you need to be very careful you don't damage the decal, because it's quite simple to do. And then onto the numbers. Now these are numbers that are supplied with the Fox kit, and they are a bit big because I need to get 5 digits in there. I'm not going to get 5, so luckily I had another kit from a LNER, and the numbers are a lot smaller. There's lots of choice of numbers on there, so we're going to make the numbers up. I have to do them individually now. So got the 0. Now I'm not too fussed at the moment about them having exactly in their final position, because it will change. As we put the rest on and we get a bit more water in there, they start to float around and we'll nudge them about. So I'm not too fussed. I get them kind of where I want them to be. And on the 08s, they seem to line up. The top of the numbers seem to line up with the top of that panel on the door. If you just see, there's a line there, so it's about there. And just keep on mopping up the excess water that goes on. Now there's a space between the 08 and then the last 3 identifying digits, so I'm just left a space between the 8 and the 1. We're trying to maneuver the 9 into place a little bit. And even if with these numbers, it's still a little bit tight. It's just a matter of getting them lined up, really. So it takes a little bit of fiddling around. They take quite a while to set, so there's really no issue with that. So it's quite straightforward to do. There's no rush. And then just dab up the excess water without we don't want to touch the decals too much. And then there's his identifying plate, the data plate that goes underneath there. Difficult to see if they're the right way up because they're so well, they're white and they're so faint, but I think I've got the orientation right on those. And then Decal. Yeah, we're just going to dab it on top just so it soaks into it. We don't want to brush it on, otherwise you'll end up moving the decals around, which is like I did there. Going to quickly nudge that into place. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And once you've got a few of the decals on, as I say, be very careful about handling the model because it's so easy to move them with a finger as you're holding the model in one place. Let's say a decal will come off, or you'll move it or damage it. So these warning flashes, now they're I see different on. They seem to be different on lots and lots of 08s that I've looked at. But this is what I've chosen to do. The 2 at the top, they seem to be fairly consistent on every one that I've seen, but the others vary in the placement and the numbers. But quite a few have had this one on the bottom rung of the ladder, so I can understand that's there for a reason, to let people know that they're climbing up to the overhead cables, I guess. So makes sense. We're going to leave that there. That's it, Decal on that, and that's all done. So our final part is to add these sort of continuation of the wasp stripes that go around the side of the grill. Now luckily these come as a separate decal, because if they came with them that would be a nightmare to fit. So yeah, I'm pleased it worked. It is so simple to do. So I just want to get them off of the backing sheet first, just get them onto the model, and then we can finesse that and move them into the correct position in a sec. Now as you see, they are exactly the right dimensions in all ways. There's no cutting around, they just fit straight into place. Now there is space for a fourth one, as you see above those. So on the final off a camera, unfortunately, I've fitted the fourth one. It fits right into that little slot in that space, fits in perfectly. So then all we need to do is, after we've used our microsol, we will let it dry overnight, give it a coat of our Johnson's Clear, or you can use obviously a gloss lacquer or even a satin lacquer, and then we can start with our weathering with some oils, which we'll do in the next video, and then the powders and the grime, and make this look as hopefully as mucky as our reference picture. That's the bit I'm looking forward to. So until our next video, take care, and thanks for joining us yet again in a Bunters yard. Bye for now.